Hey guys, welcome back to Husky Reviews, a weekly game review segment where we review mainly indie games, sometimes some AAA games, and most of the games I review are still in alpha. Today we are reviewing Stonehearth. Stonehearth was released in November of 2013, so about 4 years ago. And in that time, they have put out 22 updates, so they're on Alpha 22 right now. And during that time, they have added many additional features to the game, and they do eventually want to get out to a full release of the game. However, they want to get all the bugs taken care of. They want to implement a few more features like multiplayer, so on and so forth. I'll get into that a little bit later. Stonehearth is a city building game with a little bit of fantasy, RPG, survival, and exploration backdrop all rolled together in one. It actually takes the whole city building aspect that you would see in like SimCity or a little bit of Minecraft and really molds it and makes it its own, which I think is really cool. Alright guys, now that you know a little bit about the game, we're going to get into the good, the bad, and the verdict. And again, this is just my opinion. All the games I do review are done by a strict rubric, so everything is reviewed on the same exact standard. So it's not like, oh, this is my favorite game, I'm going to give it a 9, just cuz. For instance, Osiris New Dawn. One of my absolute favorite games, and to me, probably one of the best indie alpha games I have ever seen. And it only got an 8.7, which is still amazing on my rubric, but it wasn't a 10 like you would expect some other reviewers to give that don't go by a strict rubric. Okay. One thing I really do like about this game is that the graphics they decided to use. They went more with a Minecraft style graphics rather than going with, let's say, a CryEngine style graphics. They wanted to do something that was a little bit more fun, a little bit more cartoonish, a little bit more comic, rather than something that's super serious. I like the fact that the graphics are going to be completely known for most kids entering the video game section, because the majority of kids nowadays have been playing Minecraft from the time they were pretty much born. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of us have played Minecraft as well. And with having the type of graphics that Minecraft employs into this, the kids are going to be able to walk in and play the game and not really have too much of a difference. They're going to really associate this game with Minecraft, and that's actually going to be a lot easier on them. It's going to be less stressful on them, even if they don't realize learning something new is stressful. So I really do like that aspect of it. Plus, with that aspect, and the fact that there's no multiplayer as of yet, this is a real good game to start your kid out on. For instance, you want to start him out on a strategy game, on a city building game, really get his mind working in a different way. This is really good because there is no multiplayer yet. The kid's going to be able to come on, build what he wants to build, really think about how he needs to build it to defend against the incoming hordes, to keep his people alive and to keep everything fed and all this stuff. And you don't have to worry about him interacting or her interacting with strangers online. To me, if I had kids, this would be a great, amazing aspect for myself. I don't have to worry about, oh, did I set the parental locks? You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. To me, that's awesome. Another thing about the game that I really enjoy is the customization aspect of it. They really did go RPG in that sense. So in the beginning of the game, when you create your first village, you can choose from one of two races. Either these guys who are in the desert or these guys who are in the forest. Now that you pick these guys, you have to pick one of two landscapes. Though you pick the people that are in the desert, doesn't necessarily mean you have to stay with the people in the desert. You can choose the people in the desert, but choose a forest landscape. You don't have to stay with whichever section you choose. That is really awesome to me. Not only that, you can decide what each character looks like, what they're wearing, and their name. And in city building games, that's just unheard of, because for the most part, they're unnamed, workers and soldiers and all this other stuff. But this game, Stonehearth, really wants you to really connect with your Hearthlings. They want you to know them on a personal level, know what they're into. That's why they give you, this guy likes to be a foot soldier. He puts all the whole feelings of the village above his own. He puts the safety of the village above his own, so he really excels as a foot soldier. Another one's like, well, they are really good with plants. They have a green thumb. They would be a great farmer. They really want you to know your Hearthlings and put them in the positions that work best for them. Again, in a city building game, that's unheard of, and I absolutely love that part. No two villages are going to be the same. So if I'm building a village and you're building a village, my village is going to be drastically different than yours. We can have the same exact buildings. Don't get me wrong, we can have the same buildings. And yet my village is going to be so different than yours, just for the way that I want to lay it out. Like, I always start in the middle of the forest so I can get plenty of wood. In the beginning buildings, you need a lot of wood. So I'm like, perfect, I can get plenty of wood. I can really work up my carpenter. He can get all the other stuff out. And that's what I like doing. And I like having a lot of foot soldiers. So when I get attacked, I have 3 or 4 guys coming over there and beating people's butts. But that's me. That's how I like playing. You might be completely different. You might want to build on top of the highest mountain, and that's fine. But that just goes to show that your village is going to be completely different than mine, even if we have the same buildings. But that takes me to another part. The buildings you can completely customize, which I really love. In most city builders, that's one type of building, that's it. These, you can build them from the ground up, put whatever you want in as long as you can build it, and really just improve from there. If you can put a luxury bed in one and a simple bed in another, why would you do that? I don't know. Don't ask me. But you could. If you want a castle that looks like the castle from Disney, go ahead. Literally no one's there to stop you. And in my opinion, being a Disney fanatic, that would be legit. Just saying. There's so many different jobs that's going around that you have to keep people working at, that you can have everybody doing a completely different job. So you can have somebody be a carpenter, somebody be a blacksmith, somebody be a worker that does all the mining and cutting. You have somebody be a chef, farmer, so on and so forth. And with that, it really adds that sense of customization that really makes like how you want it. If you want to have everybody be a warrior and then just buy all the stuff from all the people that you killed, like when you kill them, you get little prizes, little money and stuff. You can just buy all the food that you need from the travelers. You can do that. If you want to be all farmers and sell all your excess food, you can do that too. Nothing's stopping you. And that really adds this customization of your village. And I really, really do enjoy that in the city building game. As much customization as you can make it into your own place. To me, that's absolutely fantastic. In the beginning, when you're choosing your location, every map is going to be completely different, because each map is procedurally generated. Not only that, you can actually choose your specific part that you want to build on each map. So let's say they procedurally generate this map, and then you're like, oh, I want to take this little square. Now, once you're actually in the game, you're like, oh, I want to place my town center on this exact position. You can do that. There's nothing stopping you. I think that's awesome. You can exactly determine where you want to build. And to me, that is amazing. Exploring is a kind of big part of the game. You can explore out and you can build further, but it'll also tell you where other resources are. But if you don't want to explore, you don't have to. That's another great aspect of the game. They're not pushing you to do anything you don't want to do. For instance, if you don't want to plant a bunch of flowers for your healer, you don't have to. You can explore out and find them all growing naturally. Another good part about the game is the story, and it's a good and bad part about the game. So this is the last good part I want to talk about before going into the bad, and this really bridges it. The story is good that it lets you evolve from a village to a town and so on and so forth, but in the same respect, it's not really as much as it could be, right? I hope, with this being the 22nd iteration of Alpha, I really hope that they expand on the story a little bit more, make it a little bit more have to do with what you're doing. For instance, explaining why the goblin's always raiding, or why you're always getting attacked. Things like that would actually draw in a lot more people, keep you really drawn into the story, would do a lot for this game. And I really hope that they expand further and do that. All right, now that we talked a lot of good about this game and you guys are excited and you guys want to buy it, let's talk about some of the downfalls it has. One of the downfalls that I found so far that it has bugs. And being the 22nd iteration of Alpha, I would hope that they would get rid of all the bugs. But every time they put out something new, of course there's going to be bugs involved with it, so I understand that. I completely understand that. For instance, one of my carpenters, actually my only carpenter at the time, got stuck in a building on the top, like on the roof. I don't know how he got up there. The only reason I even knew he was up there is because I got a notification saying he was starving. So I went over there, I had to destroy the house before I can get him down, which to me is kind of bull honky. Why do I have to destroy something and get him down? But I don't want him dying because coming across new villagers is so difficult in the game. Another aspect of the game I really didn't think was complete, or more like they really need to update it more, is the tutorial. The tutorial, there isn't one, really. I mean, there's a little bit of one, but if I have to exit the game and go online to find the controls to do something, I'm sorry, but that's not okay with me. You really need to have a tutorial in there to explain every aspect of the game. So for instance, if I drop a house down, there should be a tutorial explaining that my carpenter, whoever's going to build the required parts, I shouldn't have to figure that out on my own. There should be a tutorial explaining how to turn the building or how to customize it to what I want. I shouldn't have to try to figure that out on my own with all these different controls. I didn't really care for that, and I really do hope in future alpha iterations that they expand on the tutorial, that they really push it in. Some other stuff that they've been wanting to throw out is they want to put out a multiplayer mode, and they want to put out more interaction with you and your hearthlings, a little bit more like to see how they're feeling, to see what they want, see how they're doing, that sort of thing. And I think that's great. And I really do hope that they push that out soon, and that it comes out and actually works well with the game. All right, now that I've talked about the good and I've talked about the bad, now let's see what my verdict is. I looked on the Steam community, and the Steam community gave this game a 9 out of 10, which is amazing. And I completely understand why they did that. And if you don't know, getting a 9 out of 10 on Steam is not the easiest thing in the world. So my review is actually an 8.8, which on my scale is amazing. And like I said, my favorite game got an 8.7 through my scale. So just imagine how good of a game this is to beat my favorite game and get an 8.8. If you guys want to check this game out on Steam, there's going to be a link in the description below. It is on sale right now for $25. So it's not too expensive, but for this quality of a game, it's actually a pretty decent price. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. If you guys liked what you see, please like the video. You can also subscribe right here. If you guys want to see the last video I made, it's right here. And remember, I do a weekly giveaway for games. So if you guys want to enter that, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll put you in for a chance to win. I'm going to pick someone at random every week. I'm going to send you guys a message on YouTube containing the name of the game and containing the serial number. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week in gaming, and I'll see you later.